Our lead story tonight, after the recent horrific terror killings in Jammu, the Home Minister Amit Shah was in Jammu. He spoke to families of those killed in the recent terror attack. He's assured them that within 3 months there will be action and that there is a plan in place for the safety and security of both Jammu and Kashmir.
The Home Minister in Jammu. The plan? To visit the village in Rajouri, witness to a terrible terror strike on New Year's Day, targeting Hindu families, killing 7. But bad weather came in the way. Instead, Mr. Shah told the media that he spoke with the families on the phone.
मुझे विश्वास है कि आने वाले दिनों में जिन लोगों ने भी ये घटना करी है, उनको जम्मू कश्मीर पुलिस बहुत कम समय के अंदर नसीहत करेगी और उनको कानून के दायरे में लाकर कोर्ट के सामने खड़ा करेगी। इसके साथ साथ जम्मू क्षेत्र की पूरी सुरक्षा को चौक चौबंद करने के लिए जो एक्शन प्लान बना है, ये टाइम बाउंड है और 3 महीने के अंदर हर क्षेत्र के अंदर सुरक्षा ग्रिड को मजबूत करने का आज फैसला हुआ है।
A massive hunt for the terrorists has so far been unsuccessful. The families confirmed that the Home Minister called them, saying that they asked, what about those that had to bear the brunt of terror?
अपनी मांग रखी। उन्होंने ये आश्वासन दिया है जो आप मैं नहीं आ सका मौसम की खराबी की वजह से, तो आप ऐसे कर रहा जो आपसे हुआ है तो आपके जो जितने जो आदमी थे जो करने वाले जल्द से जल्द पकड़े जाएंगे, मारे जाएंगे। तो हमने बोला भाई अब जो वो तो मारे जाएंगे, जो इनकी फैमिली का बच्चों का क्या होगा, जो छोटे बच्चे शिशुपाल के रह गए हैं, बोलते हैं वो पढ़ाई के लिए वो व्यवस्था करेगी।
The Home Minister held a meeting of all heads of security and intelligence agencies, urging the need for tougher action on terror.
While bad weather put a spanner in the works and Home Minister Amit Shah could not visit Rajouri to meet the victim families, he tried to send a strong message that there will be tougher action against militancy and its support structure. He also put the police and security force on notice to devise a robust mechanism within 3 months to keep Jammu safe. In Srinagar, Nazir Masoodi, 5D TV.
The big focus has now shifted to the budget countdown being presented on the 1st of February. Today, the Prime Minister and the Finance Minister met with economists at Niti Aayog. Sunil, what are the big developments coming out of that?
Well, Sonia, as you are well aware, the Prime Minister listening to various economists, top economists from the 15th Finance Commission to various other key economic commentators. Some of the main points that he suggested was that India needs to think out of the box to leverage the current situation, the global headwinds, and make and ensure that women's participation takes place to a greater extent. Also commenting specifically on fintech and what hasn't been stated and what we've been able to speak to people who were participating are many of the second generation reforms. For example, insurance and other kind of reforms should be taken forward, and we could expect that to be reflected in the budget when it is presented on the 1st of February.
Sunil, thanks very much for that update. Well, the other big headlines tonight, strong comments by the Supreme Court on hate speech today and debates in television, where the Supreme Court has said today in oral observations that offending anchors must be taken off air. The Supreme Court asked the News Broadcasters Association's counsel, who controls the content? What if the anchor is itself the problem? Also added that channels competing with each other, you create divisions of society because of the visual element. The Supreme Court making these strong remarks, also making the point that freedom of speech and expression is important, but the problem with freedom is it is about the audience. Then there is money behind the channel. Who puts money will dictate the content, saying the Supreme Court, adding in the Air India incident, look at the names which the man is called. He's under trial. You have to treat a person with human dignity. They also asked the Uttar Pradesh and Uttarakhand governments. The police had been told earlier by the Supreme Court to file cases on their own on instances of hate speech. Uttar Pradesh and Uttarakhand governments said that 581 hate speech cases have been filed in UP in the last 2 years and 118 in Uttarakhand. And referring to the Air India case where Shankar Mishra is accused of urinating on a woman on an Air India flight 8 weeks ago, today Shankar Mishra told the court that the woman actually urinated on herself. A bizarre defense made by him, saying that the woman, who was over 70 years old, was a senior citizen, that she's a Bharatnatyam dancer and so suffered from urinary incontinence. Let's go across to Vedant. Vedant, an absolutely bizarre response coming there from the main accused, Shankar Mishra. And so far, neither the crew or co-passengers have ever said this about the woman having urinated on herself. So where has this suddenly come up from today?
Well, absolutely, Sonia. Absolutely appalling claims by the lawyer of the main accused in this particular case. In fact, the court came down heavily. The Sessions judge, in fact, said that, it's not impossible for you to go across to the next seat and urinate because you were drunk. And in fact, the lawyer of the accused also said that the seat of the victim was blocked and it was not possible for Shankar Mishra to go there and urinate on her. In fact, as you said, it's victim shaming of the worst kind, because he also went on to say that she's a dancer and, she had a bladder problem and that's why she urinated on herself. Now, as you said, that this is a departure from the earlier claims, because remember, WhatsApp chats had also surfaced where the victim said that she has been, receiving threatening messages. And in fact, claims by co-passengers as well, which confirmed that the incident indeed took place. So, of course, a complete departure from that. So this, remember, the police had sought, police remand or custodial interrogation, time for custodial interrogation from the Sessions Court. However, that was rejected. He is in 14-day judicial custody. Remember now, of course, the court has said that the police is free to go to the magistrate and in fact seek time for custodial interrogation, because the police say that there is more investigation yet to be done and really, questioning.
We know when that women complain about assault so often. When sexual assault is all about victim shaming, but here we've seen the most bizarre case of victim shaming once again, when you have an entire crew and co-passengers who saw what actually happened. But as the Supreme Court said, he's an accused, he has a right to a defense, even though many may see this as a completely bizarre and shameful defense at this point. Thanks so much, Vedant. And look at other news. Well, the markets have gained today. The rupee has strengthened. The Sensex surging 303 points, ending at over 60,000. The Nifty gained 98 points, closing at 17,956. Metal and PSU banking stocks have gained the most. This as investors cheered retail inflation easing and that also the good industrial numbers. The rupee also strengthening by 22 paise. But the bad news coming in today is that forex reserves have fallen by $1.27 billion in a week. Our special report tonight from the holy town of Joshimath, which is now literally a sinking town. Saurabh Shukla reports on the emotions of those who are forced to leave their homes for years. Also, the latest satellite pictures that show that Joshimath sank 5.4 centimeters in just 12 days.
The human cost of the Joshimath land subsidence crisis playing out across the town. From a teary-eyed family forced to leave home to this Gurudwara where at least 8 to 10 families have taken shelter.
कितनी तकलीफ है आपको? तकलीफ तो अब न किसी के सिर से छत जाता तो तकलीफ तो होती है। मैं भी बुढ़ी हूँ, इतने 71 साल की बुढ़ी हूँ। 71 साल की। इतने परेशान। आपके पति ने बनाया था? पति न मेरे पति की डेथ हुई ना, तब हमको थोड़ा बहुत पैसे मिले, वो नौकरी करते थे, तब मैंने एक पैसे जोड़े। मेरे 3 बच्चे थे, उनको पढ़ाया लिखाया, शादी की उनकी, तब वैसे कर एक पैसे जोड़ के तब थोड़ा बच्चों ने भी किया। तब
आपकी आंखों में आंसू आ गए हैं?
हाँ, क्या करेंगे?
सरकार ने तो बोला कि हम पर भरोसा करो और जितना हो सकता है उतना हम जो है कि सहायता करेंगे, लेकिन कब तक हम जो है कि गुरुद्वारे में रहेंगे?
हमारे पास तो इतना बिजनेस भी नहीं है कि जो हम आगे बढ़ा सके। हमारे पास जो भी है तो हम मकान पे ही निर्भर है, किराए पे ही निर्भर है कि हमारा किराया है उससे बच्चों का भविष्य बढ़े, क्योंकि अभी तो मकान भी नहीं है और बच्चे हमारे सब छोटे छोटे हैं, पढ़ने वाले हैं। ऐसा भी नहीं है कि हमारे बच्चे रोजगार पे हैं, छोटे बच्चे हैं और अब तो घर से भी उम्मीद नहीं है कि हम घर पे कुछ कर सके, तो हमारे पास कुछ ऑप्शन नहीं है क्योंकि हमारा रेड जोन में आ गया है।
The Uttarakhand government today said it will probe if power firm NTPC, that is constructing new projects in the area, is responsible for the sinking of land in Joshimath. The carrying capacity of all hilly areas will be checked. The state government will also approach the centre for a relief package. But just how bad is the crisis in Joshimath? This report by the Indian Space Research Organisation says Joshimath saw a rapid sinking of 5.4 centimeter in just 12 days between December 27, 2022 and January 8 this year. The space agency also found that the sinking rate was much lower in the previous months. With Saurabh Shukla and camera person Pawan Kumar, Bureau Report, NDTV.
For people there whose families have lived there for generations, an extremely difficult time. Today, in his reply to the governor's address, the Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin didn't directly criticize the governor, but his allies are vociferously demanding that the governor, R.N. Ravi, be recalled. This as the governor flew to Delhi today.
Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin refrained from any direct attack on the governor in his reply to the governor's speech that had become controversial after Governor R.N. Ravi deviated from the government-approved text and then walked out when it was not taken on record.
அன்று நிகழ்ந்தவற்றை மீண்டும் பேசி நான் அரசியலாக்க விரும்பவில்லை. அதே நேரத்தில் மக்களால் தேர்ந்தெடுக்கப்பட்ட ஆட்சியின் மாண்பை காக்கவும், மக்கள் எங்களுக்கு வழங்கிய ஆட்சியின் வலிமையை உணர்த்தவும், நூற்றாண்டை கடந்த இந்த சட்டமன்றத்தின் விழுமியங்களை போற்றவும் நான் என்னுடைய சக்தியை மீறியும் செயல்படுவேன் என்பதை இந்த மாமன்றமும் என்னை சட்டமன்றத்திற்கு தேர்ந்தெடுத்து அனுப்பிய தமிழ் பெருமக்களும் நன்கு அறிவார்கள்.
The Chief Minister had passed a resolution asking the Speaker to not take on record the governor's deviations. He has also written to President Murmu asking that the governor must function according to constitutional norms. Outside the Raj Bhavan, however, protests by DMK's ally VCK demanding recall of the governor.
He lost his moral right to retain this post. He is nothing but a cadre of RSS.
With many more DMK allies joining hands, this will be the beginning of many more protests against Governor R.N. Ravi, demanding his recall or return from Tamil Nadu.
Where we could see
at the Raj Bhavan Pongal celebrations on Thursday evening, some amends as the state was referred to as Tamil Nadu and the official state emblem was back. The DMK and allies skipped the meet.
The Raj Bhavan is yet to respond. Amid growing demand for R.N. Ravi's recall, the governor has flown to Delhi. The Tamil Nadu government that has adopted a measured response through the president hopes R.N. Ravi would mend ways and abide by the constitutional norms and boundaries. In Chennai with Suresh, Sam Daniel, Find the TV.
In international news, a huge controversy over the Biden files. Why exactly did the US president have classified government files at home? So this, of course, after a similar controversy derailed Hillary Clinton's presidential bid. Now the US president finding himself in the middle of this political row.
Just as former US President Donald Trump is in the midst for keeping classified documents at Mar-a-Lago after he left office, classified documents from President Joe Biden's time as Vice President were found at the University of Pennsylvania Center set up for Biden in his time out of office and at his home in Delaware. Classified documents, Obama-era intelligence memos, briefing materials covering topics like the United Kingdom and Ukraine have now been recovered. Meanwhile, the White House has been on the defensive.
This is the kind of thing that can cause government employees to lose a security clearance. This is a serious matter, as the White House has said. Was the president sloppy in handling classified material if there are multiple locations where classified documents are being found?
Look, I said it in the statement. It's in the statement from his lawyer, Richard Sauber, and at the end, he said we are confident that their thorough review will show that these documents were inadvertently misplaced, and the president and his lawyers acted promptly upon discovery of this mistake. I'm going to leave it there.
A former U.S. attorney in the Trump administration, Robert Hur, will now take over this investigation. Biden is far from the first politician to be found mishandling sensitive material. But unlike Donald Trump, who refused repeated government requests to return his own largest set of documents, Biden's team returned them to the government without being asked. But this still leaves the question of how and why the classified documents got there in the first place. Parmeshwar Bava for NDTV.
And let's move now to the other really big story tonight, and that's India's first match at the Hockey World Cup, where there's great news so far, Rika, and hopefully not much time left for India to clinch this.
It is a big moment for Indian hockey because for the second time the Hockey World Cup comes to India, not just to India but Odisha. But this is the first time when it has been taken to the cradle of Indian hockey, that is Rourkela, which is close to the Sundargarh district, which has helped India produce over 50 hockey internationals. And I'll go over to my colleague Saurabh Gupta, who's standing right there outside the stadium. Saurabh, tell us about the excitement. What is going on there right now?
Well, I haven't seen excitement like this. Everyone's excited outside the stadium, inside the stadium. There's massive excitement. People are watching it outside the stadium on a big screen. Inside, there's a packed stadium. This is, of course, one of the largest stadiums. It's also, like you mentioned, Rika, actually in the cradle of hockey, Sundargarh district. And that is why it, of course, is very, very important. And we, at this point, have some locals with us. I saw you dancing, excited when the goals were scored. Why is it so important for residents of Rourkela, this stadium, the game?
For us, this is like a really big thing because Rourkela before was not like really developed, but because of hockey and stuff and from the support of our Chief Minister, it has really developed and we now have Asia's largest stadium in our hometown.
Are you excited about that? Do you watch hockey? Do you follow hockey?
I mean, not really. I follow basketball and other sports more, but like since it's happening in my own hometown, I've started following hockey a little bit more.
It's aroused interest. It's done the job, perhaps. You know, ma'am, why is this so important? And you know, I saw you were quite excited.
Yeah, I'm very, very excited. I'm really proud of our Chief Minister, Mr. Naveen Patnaik ji. He has done an incredible job, and within a very short period of time, like this big thing has happened here. So we are really proud and very, very like happy also.
It's put Rourkela on the international hockey map, but again, you know, this area has been on the international hockey map because of the, you know, number of players it's produced this region. But today is a really big day. The first game at the Birsa Munda Hockey Stadium, really a jewel in the crown for Indian hockey, world-class facilities, and something that gives this region, this city a reason to celebrate, which is why you see people gathered all around, even outside the stadium, watching the game on a big screen and getting excited every time India is about to score or scores.
Absolutely, and the sentiments in the Indian hockey team are high because they are coming at the back of a bronze medal win at the Olympics. This is the first time that they are an Olympic medalist going into the World Cup being title contenders.
Just fantastic. So playing on home ground, we're hoping they're winning. This match is in the bag and they'll go through to, well, the semis and finals. All the best, India. Thanks so much, Saurabh and Rika, for joining me. And also now, India now has the world's longest river cruise flagged off virtually by the Prime Minister. This cruise will take you from Varanasi to Dibrugarh.
The world's longest 3,200-kilometer river cruise. Flagged off by Prime Minister Modi virtually from Varanasi. The luxury cruise MV Ganga Vilas has 18 suites with a capacity of 36 tourists. There is a spa, a 40-seater multi-cuisine restaurant, and even a gym. Being on the cruise will cost 25,000 to 50,000 rupees a day, with the total cost for the 51-day journey totaling around 20 lakh rupees for each passenger. The first cruise has 32 Swiss tourists on board.
ये पूर्वी भारत में ट्रेड और टूरिज्म से जुड़ी संभावनाओं का विस्तार करने वाले हैं, यानी भारत की विरासत और आधुनिकता का अद्भुत संगम हमें इस यात्रा में देखने को मिलेगा। विकसित भारत के निर्माण के लिए सशक्त कनेक्टिविटी आवश्यक है।
The cruise will take the tourists across 27 river streams in India and Bangladesh and will cover 50 tourist destinations including the World Heritage Sites, national parks, river ghats and major cities.
While the launch of world's longest luxury river cruise is a landmark moment, now the focus is on the waterways in eastern India for trade, commerce, tourism and even passenger transport. And perhaps Northeast India is going to be benefited the most, given the fact that this attempt of renewed focus would mean there would be new avenues and new routes opening up to Northeast India.
With Ratnadeep Chaudhary, Bureau Report, NDTV.